So now we are well settled. It's in Wichita, Kansas. It is 1971, mid-year, and I was enjoying the hot weather. Typically, Wichita, Kansas, summer afternoon, it'd be hovering around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. But we were members of this nice club that was a combined restaurant and beach club. And we could go swimming there and have a meal, have a drink. It was very nice. I loved it. Loved to be swimming there after dark, in the moon, in the cool evening. It was very nice. We were also had this nice house. We were buying a house on a mortgage. I couldn't believe we could do that, but the realtor found a house that was $10,300 for a three-bedroom, one-bedroom, what the Americans call a ranch house, a single story, what the British call a bungalow. And it had a carport and a nice piece of land. It was very nice. I thought it was nice. I was very disappointed to hear one of my friends call it a cracker box. But anyway, we liked it. And but partway through that year, Pauline announced that she didn't like Kansas. She didn't like Wichita. She didn't even like the United States. I thought that was a kind of a harsh judgment, and I told her, I said, well, I think you've forgotten, we've got it made here, you don't understand it, or you've just forgotten that what it's like to wait in the rain for the bus. But anyway, she was adamant, and she booked a flight to go back to England. And I thought maybe I'd never see her again. I wasn't sure about that. But while she was away, I met this nice lady at the bank, one of the bank tellers. We'll call her Miss Teller. A beautiful lady from North Carolina, a Southern girl. And of course, at the time, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know that Southern was something other than a geography. I didn't know it was also a deeply held culture. Anyway, we were getting along fine, and then just friends for a while. And then one day, she was crying. And she was crying because the doctor had told her that she had cysts as big as grapefruits on her ovaries, and she had to have surgery for that, which was a big disappointment for her because she wanted to get married and have children. And she'd been married and pregnant when she was 16, and that marriage had gone along for a while till her husband joined the Air Force, and they came to Wichita, Kansas to be at McConnell Air Force Base. And from there, he was sent overseas to Korea. And when he came back with a Korean girlfriend. So that was the end of that marriage. But Miss Teller was optimistic for the future. After she had surgery, we got to be quite a bit closer, And I was doing my best to help her, And from then on, it became a sexual encounter as well. And she was like, I don't want to go into too much detail, but she was the only woman I ever was fully synchronized with. Except she told me, it's okay. I don't often have an orgasm. And I resolved to do something about that. I talked to my friend Tom Derber at work, seemed to be an expert on this subject. And he told me, he said, well, the sensitive parts are on the outside. There are not many nerve endings inside. So I determined to pay attention to this, and things went much better from then on. Yes. But later in the year, Pauline called and said she was coming back. And I'm like, oh my goodness. But Well, I'd become jealous of Miss Teller's other activities, when she wasn't with me, because obviously she didn't see me as a long-term prospect. So I told Miss Teller I didn't want to see her anymore. I was tired of being used. And now I look back, I think, what was wrong with being used? But when you're young and hot-headed, those things happen, And so Pauline came back, and to her credit, she did try to make a go of it, but it was ruined for me. I'm sorry, Miss Tillett, I'd ruined things for me. And shortly before Christmas, I walked out, you know, put a few clothes in my beat up old Chevy and left her with the Volvo and the house and moved moved in with some pair of friends of mine who were renting a big old Victorian mansion on North Market Street. Big house, you know, lots of bedrooms. And they let me have a spare bedroom with a mattress on the floor. So that was all right. And then at work, the manager came to me and he said, "Oh, we've Lockheed, Georgia, and the Air Force have requested that we loan them experts in certain engineering technologies, and you are one of them we are proposing." So I said, "Oh, that would be fine. That'd be great. You know, get her out of town for a while, you know." However, after Christmas, in the new year, you know, the boss came to me and said, "I'm sorry, that deal is off." Right? There were things that we didn't want to go along with in the contract with Lockheed. Right? And this involved disclosure of their accounting methods, which you do when you're a military contractor, but they didn't want to do it, you know, for Lockheed. So I was shocked by this. I'm saying, well, wait a minute, you know, I've I've left home. I've got, all I've got is my records, my LPs, and my clothes, you know, and a beat up old car. Right? I've got to go. And the answer to that from the chief engineer was, well, lay that son of a bitch off, right? Which gave me a release, in effect, to go work for the Air Force and Lockheed in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was quite an adventure, which we'll hear more about later. Thank you.